Have you ever noticed how some people radiate a kind of calm that changes everything around them? Without needing to say a word, they don't push, they don't chase, they don't try to control. They are simply present. And in their presence, things shift. The room softens. Tension dissolves. People begin to mirror the stillness they feel. Now imagine if you did the same. If you stopped needing to react to every opinion, every mood, every movement. If you allowed space between what's said and how you respond, what would happen? That's where presence lives. This video has found you because you are ready to hear it. Eckhart Tolle once said, "For a while I was left with nothing on the physical plane. I had no relationships, no job, no home, no socially defined identity. I spent almost 2 years sitting on park benches in a state of the most intense joy." Now think about this. Next time you are alone and things are seemingly not going your way, observe your mind. In that space, you're no longer pulled into other people's unconsciousness. You don't absorb their energy. You start to see that their words are not about you. Their behavior isn't a threat, it's just noise passing through. You see others not as enemies or problems, but as people acting from their own pain body, their own patterns, their own lack of awareness. And instead of getting pulled in, you remain rooted, silent, grounded, awake. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to become and stay awake to the chaos. This doesn't make you weak, it makes you powerful, in the truest sense. Because true power doesn't come from control, it comes from presence. And when you hold that kind of presence, people feel it. Even if they can't name it, they pause, they soften, they sense something in you they didn't expect, peace that doesn't depend on them. So next time you feel the urge to react, to explain, to prove, pause. Let the silence speak for you. Let your stillness shape the space. You'll begin to notice others do shift, not because you force them, but because you chose not to act from your pain body. We will dive into how you can use your pain body to your advantage in the next part. The feeling of suffering, anger, sadness is proof you are still being manipulated by other people's unconsciousness without even realizing. You keep losing yourself in other people's noise, their chaos, their triggers, their moods. Not because you want to, but because you've been taught that it's normal, that it's love, that it's kindness. You respond before you breathe, you react before you see. You take on energy that was never yours to carry. And with every unconscious interaction, you abandon presence, your anchor, and drift into their storm. No wonder you feel exhausted. Because what you're feeling isn't just tiredness, it's disconnection from yourself. But I'll tell you why. Because you've been pulled into other people's unconsciousness, and you didn't even realize it. You mistook reactivity for empathy. You thought merging with their chaos was compassion, but it wasn't. Eckhart Tolle teaches that unconsciousness is like a field, contagious, magnetic, relentless. And when you engage with it unconsciously, it consumes you. Suddenly, you're not living your life, you're just reacting to everyone else's. So this isn't about becoming cold, it's about becoming conscious. It's about recognizing when your presence is being hijacked and reclaiming it. That moment when you want to explain yourself, defend your worth, fix their perception. Stop, breathe, observe, return to now. Because presence is power. And when you root yourself in the now, you become untouchable by their projections. You stop dancing with their wounds and start standing in your awareness. And something miraculous happens. The noise loses its grip on you. When we act from the pain body, we say, "I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm anxious," and just like that, we become the pain. But Tolle says no, that's not you, that's the pain body. An echo from the past, waking up, looking for fuel. You get an email at work, a passive-aggressive tone, a subtle jab masked as feedback, and instantly, your chest tightens. You feel the heat rise. Thoughts race. They don't respect me. They're trying to undermine me. You want to react, fire back, prove yourself. But pause. What if the reaction isn't about them at all? What if it's your pain body, old feelings of not being seen, of needing to defend, rising up again? Or you're scrolling through Instagram. Someone posts something that hits a nerve. They seem happier, richer, more loved. And suddenly, you feel lacking. Because in presence, you can read the same email, see these influences, and just breathe. Suffering feeds on your reactivity, your story, your resistance. And every time you get pulled in, defending, blaming, overthinking, you're not present. You're trapped in a loop. But what if you saw it differently? What if your suffering wasn't a punishment, but a signal? A flare going off in your awareness saying, wake up, you're not here. Because the pain body cannot survive in presence. It needs the past, it needs identification. And when you stop feeding it, it starves. So the next time pain rises, don't run, don't cower, don't fight. Just notice. Observe the emotion without labeling it, without attaching a story. Say to yourself, here is pain. Let me breathe through it. Let me witness it, not become it. And in that witnessing, a space opens up. You are no longer the storm, you are the sky it moves through. The moment you return to now, to this breath, this sensation, this silence, you reclaim your power. Suffering then becomes a teacher, not a trap. And the paradigm of letting go reveals itself. It's what you do next that is key. Remain present for the next part, where we'll explore just this. Because every wave of pain is really asking one question. Are you here, or are you lost again? And presence always answers, without words, without effort. I'm here. I never left. Welcome back. The pain. So let me ask you, how many times will you let your pain body speak before you do? How long will you keep mistaking your reactivity for personality, your triggers for truth? At what point do you finally say, enough, I choose presence over pattern? If this message resonates, if something in you feels the stillness behind these words, consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your support. Chapter 3. Tolle and letting go of control. Eckhart Tolle believed that the paradigm of letting go reveals itself once you are aware and awake to the signs of unconsciousness in your life. Have you ever noticed how the need to control creeps in? The moment something feels uncertain, unpredictable, unplanned, the mind tightens its grip. You start strategizing, calculating, pushing, trying to bend reality to your will. But look closely. What is it you're really trying to control? The situation, the outcome, or the fear rising within you? You say you want peace. You say you're ready to heal. But the moment life asks you to let go, you tighten your grasp. You hold on to the relationship that drains you. You replay that conversation. You cling to the identity you've outgrown because it's familiar, even if it hurts. You grip control like a shield, not realizing it's become your prison. Letting go is easy, in theory, but in practice, it feels like dying. Because to let go, you'd have to admit that forcing didn't work, that controlling didn't bring peace, that maybe, just maybe, you were wrong about what you thought would save you. You keep saying, I just need that extra reason. But sometimes clarity doesn't come until after the release. You want proof before you surrender. But presence doesn't deal in guarantees. It deals in trust, in stillness, in now. And here's the hard truth. You think you're managing your life, but really, your fear is managing you. You want flow, but you fight what is. You want love, but you grip attachment. You want presence, but you keep reaching into the past to feel safe. What if the grip is the problem? What if peace isn't something to chase, but something that rises the moment you loosen your hold? You've been taught to push, to strive, to dominate. But presence doesn't arrive through force. It waits for your stillness. It waits for the moment you say, enough. Enough pretending that fear is strength. Enough confusing control for care. Enough trying to fix what's meant to fall away. So now I ask you, not to convince you, but to wake you. How long will you grip what's hurting you just to avoid the unknown? And when will you realize your hands have to be empty to receive the peace you wish for? Eckhart Tolle points to something radical. The idea that control is an illusion born from unconsciousness. It's the ego's desperate attempt to secure itself in a world it can't predict. But presence sees through that illusion. It doesn't need guarantees. It doesn't demand certainty. It simply allows what is, fully, deeply, without resistance. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means giving in, not to weakness, but to awareness, to the intelligence of the present moment, which is always greater than your mental plan. Because when you stop grasping, something opens. You breathe deeper, you see clearer, and strangely, life starts to move with you, not against you. Now bring this into your real life. When your partner doesn't text back for hours, do you stay present, or do you spiral into stories? At work, when things don't go your way, do you tighten your jaw, micromanage, demand control, or do you notice the tension and let it go, just enough to hear what life is really asking of you? What if trying to be in control of your life is the very thing blocking you from living it? How many relationships, jobs, even children, were birthed not from presence, but from fear disguised as control? So next time you catch yourself tightening, bracing, over-managing, pause. Ask, who's in control right now? My presence or my fear? Is it possible to reframe this adversity completely? This is something we will explore in the next part. Chapter 4, Reframing Adversity. You may think that losing everything would be the end of your world. Are you that connected to the things in your life? Your whole identity is woven from these objects, even the people you unknowingly use as pawns in your twisted game. You are using them as long as you are acting from the unconscious. So, let me ask you this. What would happen if these things were to disappear? Where would you be left? A job slips away, a relationship dissolves, your health falters, your plans collapse. These things happen, fast, unexpectedly, without mercy, and your mind races to one conclusion. This is bad, this shouldn't be happening. You grip harder once again. You try to control, fix, explain. But have you noticed, the more you cling, the more it hurts? You say, why me? But the real question is, what part of you is suffering? It's not your presence. Presence doesn't panic. It's the identity you've built around these roles, these outcomes, this control. It's the story you've been telling. The one that says, I am only okay if nothing changes. But change comes anyway, loss comes anyway. And in that moment, you're given a choice. Collapse deeper into unconsciousness, or wake up. Eckhart Tolle teaches that adversity isn't the enemy. Unconsciousness is. Suffering only persists when you resist the now, when you label what is as wrong, but presence has no judgment. It doesn't ask why, it accepts what is. So the loss isn't the problem. The problem is the meaning you attach to it. I failed. I'm unworthy. This shouldn't have happened. But what if those thoughts aren't truth, just echoes of a fearful mind? Because sometimes the greatest healing begins not in comfort, but in collapse. When the identity falls apart, the truth can enter. When you stop trying to control life, you start to feel it, fully. And maybe that's the point, not to get back to normal, but to realize normal was never real. It was just a routine built to protect your fear. So next time life strips something away, don't reach, don't rush. Breathe, stay, witness. Let presence rise in the space where your plans used to live. Because this is the paradox. The moment you stop resisting loss, it transforms. It's no longer loss, it's liberation. And you may find at the center of what you thought would break you, there's a stillness that cannot be taken. So how do you really begin to reframe adversity? Not just in theory, but in the moments it stings the most. Here's something simple, but radical. Watch it, like a scene on a screen. When the pain rises, the argument, the rejection, the mistake, don't jump into the story. Don't become the character again. Step back, become the observer. See your life like a drama playing out in front of you. And no, this isn't avoidance. Not the kind you've been practicing for years. Not the kind that buries emotion under busyness, laughter, scrolling, substances, or silence. Avoidance is what you've done with almost every problem in your life. You're not saying the scene doesn't matter. You're saying, let me view this with space. Let me witness what's happening without collapsing into it. Avoidance is fear pretending to be strength. Presence is strength that need not pretend. Your boss criticizes you, watch it. Your partner withdraws, watch it. You scroll social media and feel that ache of comparison, watch that too. Let it all unfold like a movie. Feel the sensations rise, the tightening, the heat, the pull. But don't follow the script. Don't say your usual lines. Just notice. Here's where I usually defend. Here's where I panic. Here's where I disappear into my pain body. And now, I'm not doing that. I'm staying here. I'm just watching. Because this distance isn't denial, it's awakening. When you observe instead of react, you reclaim the one thing adversity tries to take, your awareness. You take back the seat of the witness, the you that doesn't flinch, doesn't fear, doesn't flee. That presence becomes your anchor, and from that anchor, you can ask new questions. Not, why is this happening to me? But, what is this showing me? When you learn to hold your experience like this, with curiosity, not judgment, life becomes less of a personal attack and more of a living teaching. Each moment becomes a mirror, each discomfort a doorway, and you begin to see even pain, when watched with presence, softens. Even struggle, when observed without resistance, starts to transform, because nothing can control you when you are no longer identified with it. And suddenly the story changes, not because life is easier, but because you are no longer lost in it. You are watching now, awake, aware, free. If you have made it this far, you are ready to level up and transcend your everyday suffering. You're not here by accident. You didn't keep listening because you're bored. Something in you, deeper than thought, older than identity, knows it's time. Time to stop recycling pain and calling it personality. Time to stop clinging to stories that only shrink you. Time to stop managing your suffering like a schedule and start seeing it for what it is. A doorway. You've played small for too long, kept your peace locked behind other people's comfort, traded your truth for acceptance. But the cost has become unbearable, hasn't it? You say you want freedom, then let this be the moment you stop arguing for your limitations. Let this be the moment you stop waiting for permission. Freedom doesn't come wrapped in perfection. It comes in the mess, the breaking, the honest moment when you admit, I am done surviving. Now repeat after me, I'm ready to live. This is what it means to level up. Not to get louder, but clearer. Not to harden, but to deepen. Not to fix everything, but to see everything as it is and no longer flinch. So here's the invitation. The one life has been whispering to you beneath all the noise. Are you ready to stop performing? Are you ready to meet yourself beyond the pain, beyond the ego, beyond the fear? So maybe you need to lose everything to become free. Maybe everything that isn't truly yours will fall away. And then, with the silence that's left, you can finally hear yourself, free from the noise, free from the masks, free from the illusion that those things ever defined you. Because the truth is, nothing real is ever lost. Only the false, only what was built on fear, on pretending, on survival. That pain you felt, that was life tearing off the costume. That collapse, that was your old self crumbling. Because it couldn't carry the weight of who you're becoming. This wasn't punishment, it was initiation. The unconscious around you, yes, you may lose them too. The ones who only knew how to love the old version of you. The ones attached to your wounds, not your healing. They won't all come with you. And that's not abandonment, that's alignment. Because when you choose presence, you choose truth. And truth has a way of clearing the room. And here's what no one tells you until it happens. The hardship you cursed, it came to wake you. That loss, it cleared space. That pain, it was the signal, not the end. You thought you were being broken, but what if you were being opened? When you stop resisting the fire, you realize it's not there to burn you. It's there to purify you, to strip away the illusion, to reveal the power that was always yours. This is the gift of presence. You learn to witness, not just suffer. You learn to reframe, not retreat. You learn that life is not against you, it's calling you forward. So the next time the storm hits, don't ask, why me? Ask instead, what am I being shown? Because your greatest breakdown might just be the start of your becoming. And now you know how to meet it, not with fear, but with stillness. Not with control, but with clarity. Not as a victim, but as the one finally awake. This isn't the end, it's the beginning. Welcome to your next level. Now tell me in the comments, are you willing to lose everything? To sacrifice your comfort? To pay the price for being you? If this message resonated deep, if it made sense to you, write in the comments, I choose presence. Let's see how many here are ready to live awake, not asleep. And if you're still here, still listening, then don't stop now. The next video is not just filler, it's part of your shift and more important than you might realize. I'll meet you there.